I'm going to put World Wide Web and FTP together in one video. A lot of people think of the web and the internet as the same thing, right? I'm going to go out and surf the web. Well, you might just be surfing the web, but you might just be surfing the internet as well. And I kind of grip my teeth when I hear that sometimes. They are not the same thing at all. A long time ago, they were completely separate, and in fact they still are. You see, as the internet grew, these things were added on one at a time. Email and FTP, or File Transfer Protocol, were very early things on the internet. As a matter of fact, in the early days of the internet, we needed a way to transfer files from big universities and government libraries so that we could share information and share files together. And so those protocols were developed quite early on, and the browser didn't come along until much, much later. And so we had each of these different protocols that we would use to talk to each other. So for example, email would use such protocols as SMTP, POP, IMAP in order to talk, and we just called that email. FTP would use the FTP protocol, and we just called that FTP. Browsers and web servers would talk using HTML language, and we just simply called that www, or the World Wide Web. Chat used a language called IRC, and we simply called that chat. But you notice over here on this side we had email servers, and these are all separate servers. Over here on this side you had to have a separate piece of software, and these were the client software: an email client, a browser, which is the web client, FTP client, chat client. Well, what happened is eventually these things sort of all became one big package. So the browser now became capable of becoming an email client and a web client and an FTP client and a chat client. So to the user, it appears as though it's all one big thing. It's all the web, right? But it's really not. It's still all these separate communication channels using different languages and different protocols. And so that's why we call them different things. The characteristics are that FTP, File Transfer Protocol, is a language used to transfer entire files. HTML is used to send conglomerate pages. In other words, a page that has some text and some pictures, and most of all some hyperlinks in it. And hyperlinks then can jump you somewhere else in the document or to another document completely. And so those are the characteristics of the web, or the World Wide Web.